All right, and we are live. Beautiful, beautiful. Well, hopefully I can perform better under pressure than I have in simple solo sessions. Because I gotta tell you, I'm getting sick and tired of what is currently on my hobby plate. And it is purely my fault. I have nobody to blame for this. Alright, it says we're good, so we should be all set. Alright, yeah, these old school backpacks are very, very, very full of gaps that are pretty much required for you to spend a good bit of time doing some washout. Put a little bit there. That should be it. Yeah, these old school firstborn don't have a metric ton of spots. All these little back gaps really load up on black paint to fill those up, because most of the water will dry out, just leaving the black paint residue. We want to make sure that there's enough in there. Alright, the stream is up. That is good. That is lovely. Seems my computer's doing a good job. So let's keep it up. Let's keep the good vibes rolling all the way to the end. Once this last bit of yellow on my desk is done, I am going to weep tears of joy. I will not weep because it's over. I will smile because it happened. Yeah, there's a good position. Right there. Once this pile of stuff is done from my desk, I am going to be weeping, crying tears of joy to finally be able to move on in the hobby. It's fun to tackle projects in bulk, but I swear, I think I have found the golden limit to how many true in-progress things I can have on my desk at one time without, going crazy and burning myself out. After I finish this backlog, I'm probably not going to want to touch a paintbrush for a good 3 to 4 months at the very least. But hey, if you're just joining us tonight on this beautiful, lazy Wednesday evening, thank you for stopping by. We're just having a nice little chill hobby stream where we pick up the paint, we put down the pitchfork or whatever metaphorical tool of your choice that you use to work or occupy yourself during the day. And come join us with the spirit of Bob Ross as we hopefully don't make too many happy little accidents. We do want to be painting things in the direction that we want to, but we will be enjoying ourselves first and foremost. Misery is, the enemy of happiness, but that's a very obvious statement. We don't need to worry about that right now. Man, as much as I do love my Space Marines, I am... you start to hit a little bit of a flavor limit with that kind of stuff. But it's alright. I enjoy all the little conversions I made. I enjoy all the stuff I did. And that will sustain me. Will keep me nice and happy. All throughout till the next bit of hobby stuff. Oh, this is an interesting little backpack panel with like a power coil in the back. I suppose it's meant to be a metal color of some sort, but I was not paying attention when I painted it, and it doesn't really matter. Black in between. There you go. And there we go. That's not too bad. A little bit of gunk in the innards there. Wipe away the excess. A little bit of gunk in the mouth. Just kind of darken it up. Yeah, a nice little contrast. Yeah. Any mistakes that end up getting made in the... Where's the last guy? Oh, no, that was 5. Yeah, any mistakes that end up getting made in kind of like the last little bit of the panel lining process here, I should say, is really going to get covered up by the weathering process, which is the actual like final boss of my process here. Cool, because once the weathering's done, then it is literally varnish, base, and done. And oh baby, I will be so happy to be done. The personal problem I have is that all of my individual steps take forever from a hobby point of view. Yeah, these current batches have really put it into perspective for me. Like having to switch back and forth between 2 paintbrushes for this one section is pretty, I don't know. I'd say annoying, but I know it's necessary, so I'm not going to complain or worry too much about it. Alright, a few lines on the feet. Those will get plenty of dirt and coloration once we actually get to the weathering portion, which should go pretty quick. Like all of these processes, I should say, they don't actually take too long. Like I'm cranking through a lot of the panel lining here, and I'm getting faster as I go. Momentum is very important to me as a hobbyist. If I didn't speed up as I went, I would be glacially slow. I'm already pretty slow as is. Oh man, these little back leg ridges don't exist on the old Marines. That is a good time not having to do those. Oh man. Okay. So we have mixed up a very, very fluid style of black, and we are just gunking it into these little crevices. I would be going, in the past, I would have been far more precise. I would have spent a little more time trying to get like the right ratio of paint to water, but at this point, I am so close to the finale on this current batch, and I am just really, really, really pushing to try and get to the end here. We've got 5 intercessors that we're just now starting, and then we've got 10 of the assault variety, 5 stern guard, and then we have 10 firstborn terminators. That, as I've just discovered with the old Hellblasters I just did, actually don't have that many panel lines to agonize over, which is a nice change of pace. Oh man, this feels like a thankless process at sometimes, but once a mini of mine is all like varnished and pretty and like fully like complete, like ready for tabletop, I always end up noticing like, oh man, I'm so glad I panel lined that. Like, oh man, I'm so glad I noticed that one tiny thing that I'm sure nobody else in their right mind would ever notice, but I notice, and I use that as an excuse to inflict wounds on my time wounds on myself, to just drag out my projects unto infinity. But hey, in some corner of my little goblin brain, it seems to be all worth it, and life is about pleasing the goblin. If you're not pleasing the goblin part of your brain, what are you doing? Hell, that's where a lot of my hobby motivation comes from, because the Grinch will just have an idea, an awful idea. You should buy that third night. Oh, you should really try out that new Vallejo line. The Dark Urge comes in many forms. But we're not worrying about that right now. We are our worst critics. God, isn't that so true? Oh man. Oh, but the joy of I get part of the joy of agonizing over oh god, every time I pick up a new model, I'm just like, I have to start over. The little joys of I don't know, of just seeing everything done. Like I look over to my shelf, I see my Imperial Knight just like staring at me, like nodding his head in approval, like you did it. Like you agonized over every little saucy detail, and look at me now. Like I stand on your shelf, proud, good looking. Whenever I go into battle, you always grin as you put me on the table, and I'm like, yeah, you know what, you're right. You're so right. So, it's the path. It's the path I've chosen as a hobbyist, as someone who is addicted to the brush, has no access to an airbrush of any kind. I chose a paint scheme that is just absolutely hellish, but I liked it, and so I've stuck with it, and it has brought me much joy. And is that not the point of it all? But there's not too much to me tonight. We are simply not varnishing, but we are panel lining, and we are just struggling to get to the weathering process, which is just sponge galore. Add a little bit of brown, a little bit of black. I've already gone through and done some pre-scratching to make like little like kind of one-off marks on the greaves, on some of the shoulder pads. I'm not gonna lie, I really phoned in that process while I was doing that yesterday. So if you go back and compare that to some of my older models, where I kind of like was fresh off the new YouTube video of like how to do scratch weathering and things like that. It looked a lot better, but I am sure that once I get sponging on these guys, it is not going to be noticed at all. Probably even by me. And if I do notice, then I'm going to remind myself that I chose this. You solely are responsible for this. Any Project Wingman fans in the chat? About to go pay a visit to Crimson One. Alright, we're getting a yellow warning on the computer, but I'm sure everything is fine. We got that last time. Well, if you are hanging out with us in chat tonight, I bid you a good welcome. Thank you for stopping by the Lucky Ones hobby stream. If you do happen to be painting something, I would love to hear all about it. Go ahead and drop it in the chat. Spur a little bit of discussion. Distract myself from the mustard hell that I'm currently drowning in. Pure satisfaction is how I felt when I painted my Magnus. Oh, yep. Man. I guess the closest equivalent I've had to like a true centerpiece, like Primarch-esque model would be my single Imperial Knight, but I would hesitate greatly to put that on like the same level, because a Primarch perhaps it's datasheet, perhaps it's like lore implication, but he commands a presence that's far greater. The wings do a great job at doing that. Like, you put Magnus on the table, you're aware of where he is constantly at all times. I Yeah, that would be an interesting painting project. But yeah, Magnus is a doozy when it comes to committing to a large centerpiece model. I have 3 Imperial Knights in the wings that are probably going to command as much attention from me as a Primarch would. So I'm excited to tap into those eventually. But we got to get through this first. Yeah, it's not going to be. Uh-oh. My supply of water paint is running low. Got to refill. Yeah, I'd have another camera on the actual palette itself, but currently we're working with a very bare bones setup. This is just something for fun, something to give me an excuse to cause me to focus a little bit. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that mixture is looking a little better. Wings are the best part. Oh God, I've painted very few wings in like my hobby career over the course of all the minis I've done. I've painted. Actually, the most wings I've painted were on a few Dungeons and Dragons miniatures. One of my players had an Aasimar fighter, and then another one was a villain, like a villain NPC that I got printed off. Painting wings is such a blast. Specifically for me, I do an insanely lazy version of wings where it's just primarily dry brushing. But even with dry brushing, like raised textures on wings do so much to just make it look cool. I'm a huge fan of painting wings. I've got plans for a Sanguinor proxy that has some cool mechanical wings, so maybe something fun will come out of that. Took me a month because I couldn't decide on armor. Dude, oh my God, Mr. Awesome, I'm currently going through that exact process for my knight household. I've got like I mentioned, I've got 3 big knights like waiting to be built. The knight I currently have on my table, well, not on table, but the one on my shelf, my one finished Questoris knight, I made him as just a one-off. I made him like after a character I liked, like blue, white, Pegasus motif, whatever. And it stings because I made him to be like a freelancer, like a one-off. He's not part of a house, whatever. But now that I have all these other knights, I now have the significant urge to actually unite them into a custom knight house. And if you're going to decide on a color scheme for multiple giant knights, it has to be something that you love. Like, you've got to pick a color scheme that you're going to, not a single regret. And part of the decision-making going into that has been I need a color scheme that's not agony to paint. I need something, pretty easy, probably, base black or base white, so I can prime most of the surface color. So that's where I'm leaning. I've been messing around with ImpCat, that kind of, imaging app where you can upload, pictures of minis and, slap digital colors onto them, see what they look like. We've been messing around with some orange and white. I want something, I don't know, new age, kind of modern color. We'll see how that goes. That's not going to happen for several months at least. But a good color, deciding on a color scheme for any big mini is a big deal because you're going to be seeing a lot of it, both while painting it and whenever you're playing with it or looking at it afterwards. A little insidious worm voice in your head going, "Did you really pick the right color? Are you sure it wasn't supposed to be blue or green?" Or something else. On tiny miniatures, you never run into that. Well, at least I never run into that problem. Hell, most of them are yellow anyway, so I'm just like, oh, is it yellow? Cool. Must have did it right. Maybe a few odd character colors here and there, but mostly consistent across the force, as it's wont to do. God, getting back into streaming mode, where I find myself needing to constantly be running a dialogue, is a little bit of a shock. But I think we are doing all right. Taking these things one leg at a time. Another thing you got to work through whenever you're doing massive batch paintings is figuring out what kind of process that you guys want to start on. When you're going from miniature to miniature, it's you want to start with the back first, you want to start with the front, you want to do symbols. I've actually ended up writing out a lot of my step-by-step processes on little shit. There we go. I accidentally dipped my water brush in the black. There we go, nice and clean. But I ended up writing a lot of my like paint processes on just note cards. I just all across my desk, littered amongst the tissue papers for dry dabbing, the paintbrushes themselves, the water cups. There's just random little like sticky notes and note cards for like, oh, what mini are you painting, me? It's like, oh, I'm painting this one. It's like, all right, do this first, and then do this, and then do this. When I got my death company, I was agonizing for more than a single day, which is all the time I feel bold enough to admit, on exactly what sort of process. Like, I couldn't sleep one night because I was struggling to think, like, oh, God. Like, obviously, we prime the black armor first, but then, like, do we do decorations? Do we do this? Do we do that? And it was really just... I spent way too long thinking about that. So I ended up sitting down, focusing, writing it out, and now I have a good old little note card with the step-by-step on it. Don't know if I'll be getting my hands on any more Death Company in the foreseeable future, but it's still good to have it. It's a good little reminder of the thought process. Helps me double-check myself, keep up to speed, etc., etc. Painted Magnus with Phoenix Wings because I never like doing the standards. I want to do something that both contrasted and paired well with them. Phoenix Wings! So we're talking like red, orange, kind of like Undying from Fire kind of motif. Because if so, that is absolutely beautiful sounding. Yeah, I've seen a lot of Magnuses in my time, both on the tabletop and from YouTube battle reports, etc. And I'm a fan of the classic Magnus Wings, where it's his motif. It's like red base with the like fade into blue, and some people go really extra with it with like cosmic flare and whatnot. But I am but then I've also seen like some people just like I saw one that was just like straight red, like pure red wings which is like a light white dry brush, and even then it looked pretty good. Because like the textures on the wings. Here, if I get way up close to the camera, yeah, there we go. It's not too bad. This camera's a little fritzy. I want to make sure you guys can see detail. There he is. Look at the little guy. Take forever to paint because my technique unconsciously. Yep. Oh, yep. Those little ticks that our hands just like to. Like, what if I did it slightly differently this time? What if? Specifically me, what if I just changed the order? What if we went from top to bottom this time, and you miss a vital detail, like located under this mini's arm, that you'll notice like 4 steps later, and then have to completely go back, put a different color on the palette that you got rid of 2 days ago, because your brain just forgot what order you were supposed to do this in. And I'm like, no, not like this. ADD hurts sometimes. No matter how much joy it gets me, I'm getting lost in my own sauce. And you hate to see it. Alright. Hit the grill. I hit under the arm already. Gorgeous. God, I gotta be almost done with these regular shooty boys, yeah? Like right. There's 2 more. Ah! Yes, exactly. Yeah, precisely. Having a good mental process, and I'm part of the problem. I will not hesitate to admit that. Like, I am constantly either eating something or drinking something or watching a video or listening to a video, like watching a video, listening to a podcast, like everything except focusing on the miniature I'm supposed to be painting is what I'll be doing while hobbying. I mean, hell, I'm doing the exact same thing right now, except instead of watching something, I'm like struggling to make myself entertaining so other people watch me. I've already done exactly what we've talked about in this session, where I've committed myself to going bottom to top, start with the legs, spin it around, etc. And I'm just like, what if I started with the backpack first? But it's all in good fun. All in good fun, as the hobby is wont to be. Once this pile of stuff is free from my desk realm, This room is due for a big, deep, clean vacuuming. That is the number one thing that is happening straight up. I have not been able. Well, it's not that I haven't been able to. I have not bothered to get a vacuum cleaner in here to specifically clean the hobby section, because I know I've been like painting, discarding, doing all that nonsense for for well over a month now. And I've rationalized with myself that, hey, as soon as we're done with the Marines, clean everything, get everything nice and organized so you can actually breathe for a second. And I cannot wait. I do not... Oh, God, I have no idea how far we're going to get tonight. Judging by the pace, I got a little bit of a head start last night before I became just too exhausted to move. So we should... the operative word there. We should be able to get to, maybe not finish weathering, but at least get to weathering tonight. And that will be a great success, because then that, for real, without any sort of hidden meaning, is the final step for the painting part of my color scheme. We get oh, I forgot that. There we go. MC missed a spot in the leg. Had to go back. Arms are done on this guy. Right, hit the backpack. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. How's the old laptop doing? Laptop's holding up. There we go. It likes to hyperventilate every now and then. Just send me oh, danger, danger. Your CPU is using half. And I'm like, that's alright. Not too worried about that. Got a Boondocka Snazwagon on my paint desk at the moment. Freehand flame. Oh my god. Freehand decals. You are mix-speaking my language. Who in chat cannot be bothered to look up and buy like a very specific third-party decal, because nothing quite fits your vision. So you just gotta give it a wing, give it a shot, and see how it ends up. Yeah, going from I've tried a few flame decals in my day, mainly actually no, probably not flame. Not too many of my factions get involved with any like fire motif. Although I did remember I did a rose decal by hand on a it's on the pauldron of one of my firstborn. That was one of the. He was a member. He was like the champion. Oh no, he wasn't. He was a old jump captain model. I remember now. I remember. He was part of the. He's part of that the old company heroes like firstborn box that you can't buy anymore because they discontinued it. It came with the ancient. Came with the what the hell was it? It came with the ancient, like the little guard guys. It's what the company heroes box is now. But there was a jump captain in there, and I remember I didn't want to do, or I either didn't have. Oh, nope, starting at the bottom. There we go. Correct myself. We either didn't have like a first company like shield pauldron, or I didn't want to put one on there. I wanted something different. Oh, it's because I was magnetizing his weapon options. That's why I did it, because I was being stupid. Well, I mean, this was back in 9th edition. Magnetizing your character arms actually made sense. But yeah, I was like, what's a cool thing to have on a pauldron for a captain? It's like, oh, like a flower, like a cool flower. So I ended up finding this really cool clip art picture of a rose, and just going starting with a mechanical pencil outline, line for line, tracing, comparing. It ended up looking pretty cool. Maybe my arms need a rest from being propped up on my desk here in a minute. I'll go grab it. Just black flames because I was terrified of dynamic colors. Never use water transfers. Oh man, water transfers are some of my favorite. God, once you get used to using them, there is a little bit of a learning curve with them, specifically, and it has to be good transfers. I've had third-party transfers crack, break on me, just turn to dust whenever you actually get water on them. But GW transfers, all the ones... Here, let me grab... all these... they come in every box. some of them are useful, some aren't for certain color schemes, but their transfers that they include with their stuff have always, at least for me, historically been very, very good quality. All the transfers on these guys. Little number, little chapter badge, all that stuff. There is, I will admit, there's a little bit of a learning curve with water transfers, but once you get that stuff down, it is magical. Specifically when they fill in niche for something that you need. Like these guys here, for example. I used to, back in the Halcyon days of 2022 and 2023, when I was really first getting like jump started into the hobby, I wanted to make all of my Marines kind of like Codex compliant from like a visual standard, like to have the right symbol, to do all this, to do all that, just creating extra work for myself. But I already decided to go with Lamenters, so that was gonna be. It already crossed that bridge, so who cares? But I did the like the company markings by hand again. Like, and I still do the chapter symbols by hand because I can't be bothered to find a proper decal. And sure, they all look a little weird, but if you look up close, but I didn't want to buy a third-party pauldron, so I didn't. Learning how to use these things has been a lifesaver in terms of time. Like, I did all of these in one night, in one session. Normally that would cost me at least like 2 or 3 days of hobby time to really like lock in and get those things done. Okay, am I done with the legs of this guy yet? This is the last one. Yeah, it is. This is the last regular guy. Only thing I magnetize is Killrig and a Redemptor Dread. I am... Oh, well, it's up. As soon as I finish... Almost got me distracted again. As soon as I finish putting the ink on this guy, I will show you something that is just sitting maybe like 2 feet to my right. That is very, very pertinent to your plight, your situation there. It's very convenient and it's kind of funny. So as soon as I get this guy nice and done, just a little bit of black in the nostrils. They're not nostrils. Like the little face markings, whatever the hell they are. Little vents, little snarly whiskers, whatever they happen to be. The ones on the beakies from the Assault Marines I bought are a little interesting. When I put a little bit of black shading on them, it almost looks like they have cat whiskers. If I pull up this guy, and look at his face, little whiskey boy. That one I was rushing a little bit, so it's a little blocky, but yeah, who cares? Boom, boom, boom. Alright, finish this backpack. Get these vents filled up. Get the front. There we go. A little bit more water on the brush seems to be doing the trick. Then really load up with black and just let it trace. Fill it in there. We've already covered, we've kind of saturated the area with ink, so if it bleeds a little bit, we don't really care. It doesn't require a lot at all, so we're not stressing about it. 1, 2, 3, and done. Beautiful. All right, magnetizing. So you mentioned magnetizing Redemptor Dread. I'm gonna reach over to my right and grab this guy, who I forgot to prime yellow when I was doing the rest of the batch. But this is the old. This is actually the old Monopose blue plastic Redemptor when it first got released. I bought it for $20 at a flea market at last Adepticon. He only came with the Gatling. He only comes with the one standard like Gatling flamer build. It doesn't even have the missile launcher. But I bought a little extra macro plasma accelerator on eBay, and there we go. Boom. Ready to go Bert in the name of his brothers. But I definitely totally meant to prime him pink and then yellow with the rest of this batch of his brothers, but I completely forgot. He was sitting on my desk the whole time. I had no excuse. But we managed to skip him. Such is life. We all make mistakes. Got custom pauldrons for my Iron Warriors and first started clay. Now, oh no! Well, if you got some, you are absolutely right. We have some brand new, lovely, official Iron Warriors pauldrons coming to a store near you. Well, I will tell you this: you probably saved a lot of money by buying third-party sprues than trying to do the whole circus dance of getting the official ones. I do not remember what an average upgrade sprue costs you, but I recall it not being relatively worth it. Thankfully, I've never actually had to buy any upgrade sprues for anything. I imagine if I did, I would have probably done what you did and found a little bit of an option. Alternate option, that is. Yeah, that Iron Warrior stuff coming out looks fan-effing-tastic. I cannot wait. Won't be buying any myself, but it'll be nice to, once I'm finally back and playing games again, it will be very nice to sit down and have a good game against some of the fresh chaos madness that will be getting released against us. I'm worried about the lore of the Lamenters, seemingly since they've seemingly been granted the Emperor's mercy and told to go kill Huron in the Maelstrom. I'm sure that won't go horribly. Who knows? Maybe the Carcharodons will swoop in and save the day. They can finally start introducing successor chapters into the boxes again. That was well before my time. Joining in the throes of 9th edition hell with all the Tau and all everything else. Save money collecting them. Yeah, Heresy kits are so good. Heresy, oh man. I've been tempted to, were it not, like, the kit was so insanely old and, like, deprecated from like a loadout point of view, I would have gotten my hands on a Destructor Squad, or I don't remember what they're called in Heresy, but I think it's just the Heavy Weapons Team is the name. But just these standard, like, 10 guys who you can outfit with a las cannon or a melt-a-gun or whatever the hell that you want to. Mentors need payload. God, they do. They are so cooked. They might just straight up kill them. Is my fear of where they just get killed off screen, and it's like they tried, but Huron's a new model with a and he doesn't wear a helmet in his model, so they can't legally kill him according to the laws of the land, so sorry. Which would be pretty lame, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if that happened. But my love will never be diminished. We will hold the line, and we will do our job. What I tell myself every day in the morning when I get up for work. Hold the line, do your job. Survive to one more hobby session, and everything will be okay. Beautiful indeed. Alright, so let's get the front of this pauldron done. Okay, we are on to the Assault Intercessor portion of today. And what I really should do right now is power through every single one of this like unit so that I get faster. I could do, oh man, if I decide to switch up my style right now for the sake of trying to get faster, but it ends up making me slower, I'm going to feel like a dumbass. I'll try it on 2, just to kind of break up the monotony a little bit, because this is pretty boring, even if it is necessary. As soon as I'm done with this one, that is. I gotta stop myself from stopping halfway to try and do something faster when in reality I'm just wasting time. But yeah, I've been stuck on the hobby section for like January at this point, like even before January. Probably has the Lex Luthor thing going on where he wants his enemies to know exactly who's. Oh, he leaves them as an example or something. Ugh, that would be so disappointing. Maybe they'll do, maybe GW will do something cool with it. Hopium. You never know. They've got they wrote just I was about to say like they've done something cool with lore in the expansion books, and then my brain tried to think of one. I was just like, what did they do again? Maybe next time. Maybe in another life. Come what may, my boys will be my boys, and we'll have a good time together. Okay, I need to really refill my my paint section with a... Okay, you're done. Need to really refill my paint section with some more black that then turns into... What the hell am I saying? That turns into panel line material. You gotta really soak it up. I made the mistake on some previous runs of this process specifically, where I just did not dilute it enough. For me personally, for the type of paint I end up using, I really got to get the paint to where it's almost got like a layer of water hanging on the top. If it's just a little too thick, then you are going to end up with some serious stains on whatever you happen to not want to fall into the cracks. There we go. That should be all nice and set. Yeah, batch painting is the hardest part of work. So many have painted. Oh man. All right. So here's what we could do. We could do what I've been doing and just go one at a time, like try and crank these things out. Or, hang on, my throat hurts. There we go. Delicious tea. We could do that, or what we could do is we could go more than one and do part to part. We could go head, head, arms, arms, legs, legs, torso, torso, back, back, backpack. That feels like it is no faster or slower, and in fact, I'm just wasting time. You know what? No. I already made the decision by saying it out loud. That is a ridiculous idea that will just slow me down even more. And there we go. We save a lot of time just by not entertaining the argument in the first place. Although, I will probably save some time by real... Oh, there we go. Yeah, now the mixture's looking good. Although, I could probably save some time by really just going one portion of the MIDI at a time, instead of trying to be all nebulous with just like the lower regions, and then turn around and then do the other part, where in fact we go front to back, bottom to top, and don't waste any that's a glob, and don't waste any time trying to get fancy with it or do more than I should at any given point. There we go. So this, and then the other leg, like that. Get that. And sure, it's a little messy, but hey, it's quick. It's nice and fast. And half of this is going to get covered up with weathering later. So, I shall not weep, for I shall not suffer. Vehicles are fun though, but I've seen people do the opposite problem, where painting the vehicles is boring. Speed paint? No, I am not. I happen to not be a fan of speed paint. Like contrast, all that stuff. I understand that it's multiple reasons. First of which, I've seen a lot of kind of hack jobs done with speed paints, where it kind of it's pretty much a dead giveaway, where you can tell like every time that someone has used speed paint. It's very hard to hide. It's very hard to like make it look like something else, specifically from like examples I've seen. And two, I am just a old stick in the mud who does not want to. I'm the opposite of Zinch. I am not the changer of ways. I am the man who does the same way every single time forever, and will not change his process because he's used to it and he doesn't want to bother trying something else. Because then what if the models I paint don't look exactly the same as the ones I have? And that's like a nightmare for me. Like if it looks slightly different, I feel like I'll just somehow notice, and then yeah, it's all over. The game is over. All jokes aside, I am yeah, I've never really given it a try. It's never been something I've been interested in. I'm sure it would help to some degree, but I'm comfortable with the paints I like that I use. They're much cheaper to buy than speed paints are, and I feel like I get pretty good results with it. So, pissing and moaning about how long this takes, it is my fault. I don't really have anybody else to blame, nor would I want to, because that's just mean. And you shouldn't blame things on people when it's not their faults. Something some people in my life could certainly stand to learn, but that's a topic for another time. Yeah, God, such good juju. The feeling of putting in the panel line and not a backpack, because it means I'm almost done with the mini. I'll ride that same high when we actually get to weathering the minis. I'll get faster and faster with the process because my brain will recognize, like, we're almost done. We're almost finished. We're almost there! And then we'll realize that there's still basing and varnishing and a few other things, but hey, I won't yuck other people's yum. I'm certainly not going to yuck my own. There's plenty of other people in the world who can do that for you. Alright. Get this grill. Done. 1, 2, 3. And that's a bit of a... Oh no, that was me. I did that on purpose. Wonderful. Okay. Yeah, I'm absolutely a momentum-based hobbyer when it comes to just like actual quick physical workload. The longer I spend on a particular section, the faster I get, the more I speed up. And the faster I go, the happier I am. ADD doesn't help me lock in too often, or rather too quickly, but we tend to make it work. Let's get these legs done. 1, 2, 3. Get that. Alright, there we go. This, that. Basic process has been to speed paint with basic acrylics and shades, so I wind up slowing myself down anyway. You became the very thing you swore to destroy. The speed paints betrayed me? Yep, I mean, dedication to a creative vision, it's gonna take... It takes as long as it takes. That's just the way it goes. Sometimes you just gotta let it play out. Like my table of stuff, I've long made peace with the fact that, hey, you let this build up, and while I certainly don't take the blame for buying it all. Like, most of this was a Christmas gift. I do take the blame on myself for trying to do it all at once. Is this something I'll do again? Probably not. I've learned a very valuable lesson. God, I have just screwed that up. We'll just have to do some extra weather in there. But it's definitely a lesson I will take to heart. Moving on from the future, thinking ahead to my Imperial Knights. Is it really a good idea to build and paint them all at once? Well, it is only 3 models, so the jury's still debating. When they get back in session, we'll see what they decide. But I'm definitely taking the lesson of probably in the future when I'm dealing with more miniatures in a physical sense, maybe break them up into something that's a little bit of a more manageable workload. You'll enjoy it more. You'll feel less burnt out. And then once you finish a model, that feels great. You kind of forget all of the any and all annoyance that went into the painting process, how long it took. I'm gonna again, I said earlier, I'm gonna weep tears of joy once I am out from under the thumb of all of these miniatures that are currently on the desk, because they've just been sitting there for such a long time, and putting them all currently behind my laptop. I have the minis that are done, quote unquote, to just get them away from the pile of everything else. But they look I can see them sitting over there. They look good, And I know that, like, there's nothing else I have to do to them, with the exception of, like, varnish and basing, but that's, like, a different process. But once I have my table clear and I put these over there, I am going to, like, do a happy dance. I'm going to feel so good. Do a little boogie, do a little dance. But then there was more. This isn't the end of it by any stretch. I still have. I took out all of the character miniatures that I had overlay my. Exactly. That has been the vibe of this hobby season entering into 2026. Has just been, how much can I load on my plate at the same time so that I get sick of everything. The answer is a lot, but you know, we'll learn something valuable from that and move on. Okay, done. Oh God, 7 assault intercessors to go. All of these little idiots. You know what? I'm gonna try something. I'm gonna try something. Where's my other paintbrush? There it is. All right, we're gonna do that step process that I mentioned earlier. We're gonna start with the backpacks because the backpacks are very easily accessible. Oh God, this paintbrush has so much of a larger volume than my other one. Get that, and then we will do black. Nope. Let's see if this works. It's a little gloopy. But boom. And that backpack's done. We put them aside. We go to the other one. Nope. God, this paintbrush holds so much effing water compared to the other one. Fill this one up. Do this, do that. There, that's good. And back to the black. Goop it up. Fill in the gaps. Mush it in. Mush, mush, mush. Oh, damn, we actually ran out. Yeah, click, click. Oh, God, too much. Ah! Take it away. Take it away, Ernie. That's all right. Yeah, this feels like it takes just the same amount of time as I would be doing normally. So, oh, message return. I didn't see that. Oh well. All right. Well, I mean, that's kind of what I expected. We will continue to do this the normal way. We'll start with the legs. We'll start with the chest, rather. I keep saying we start with the legs, but I've always been starting with the little vents in the compartment on the chest here. I almost need a sticky note for this as well. But I'm an adult. I think I can handle doing this process out without needing to write it down. As much as I love writing things down, I never do it when I actually need to. Switching project every few thresholds or so, then my burnout doesn't happen. That is a great idea. That would have been a great idea before I committed to finishing this insanity. And I'm so close at this point that I can't take it back. Otherwise, I'm going to feel like, what was the point of pushing myself? This has probably been the most, self-inflicted damage. Well, damage is the wrong word. It's not damage. It's not, severe. This has probably been the most, intense hobby crunch I've put myself through. The only thing that comes close that reminds me is I remember it was either the last Adepticon or the one before, where I really wanted to, where I bought this was 2 or 3 Adepticons ago, where I really wanted to get my current batch of stuff done in order to have it for the crusade that I was going to be a part of. And I remember staying up an entire night, night or two, just cranking it out, trying to get this one batch done. And it was a smaller batch than I think is here. on the current table, although this one has taken me far longer. Partly because my life has changed. I had a different job back then. I'm still living at home. But I really, really wanted to get it done so that I could have it at Adepticon, so I could show people, so I could play with it. Because I pride myself on not playing with unpainted miniatures. Like, I've never done it. I forgot who. It was somebody who was like on a battle report channel, who like right when I was like really just first starting to get interested in the hobby itself, was like, I'll never play with like unpainted miniatures. Like, I enjoy like displaying my art as part of the hobby, and I'm like, you know what, that's really cool. And then I saw like a lot of other, and then I see that a lot of people like don't even paint their minis at all, and they play with gray, and I'm like, well, that's fine, but I think it's far nicer if I can like have something on the table that, even if I'm not like not bragging about it to other people, because that's weird and kind of a dick move. I can feel good about putting it down, and someone will inevitably go like, "Hey, those look nice." I'm like, "Oh, thank you. It's perfect." It's just the tiny amount of ego boost that I don't get at work that I'm always appreciative of. The commitment is real. I respect it. Oh, well, thank you, Mr. Austin. I appreciate you. Yeah, thanks for coming by to hang out. Yeah, I would like to do more of these little hobby streams. It helps keep me accountable. Gives me something to do with the YouTube channel while we're in between videos. I have a battle report, quote unquote battle report. It's very experimental because we've literally never done it before. But no, we tried filming one. I've got all the footage uploaded to my computer. And as soon as I am not focused on this garbage, I will be turning my attention to editing that and seeing how it turns out. I'm very excited to see whether it's a complete disaster. Shit. Too much goop. Oh damn, that looks nice. Nicer, I should say. But I am excited to... Okay, let's just... Shit. You know what? That's fine. The face mask is a little darker, but that's all right. We don't need to worry about that too much. But yeah, I'm excited to crank that into the editing software. I'm excited to see how it turns out. I'll need to get my hands on some like symbol decals, like maybe a chainsword. I guess if you had to have an icon to demonstrate a charge phase, what would it be? My brain immediately went to chainsword because it's the quickest. It's the quickest thing. But I'm sure there's an alternative option there that I just really haven't had the time to sit down and explore. Yeah, because I'd like to have some like graphics on the screen that kind of pop up to, show what phase it's in, all that fun stuff. Oh, nope, almost dropped my paintbrush. There we go. Nice and saved. Guilty of playing with primed minis. I refuse to go completely unpainted. Yeah. I do not blame anybody. I don't judge anybody. Like that's like a dick move supreme. That's like professional dick, like Dick Grayson. Level of pettiness. Like, some people just do not like. There's a different, like, and the difference there is like people who have it's very rare. I don't think I've ever seen anyone with this attitude in person. I'm hoping these people don't exist. But people who almost have like a hostile attitude towards painting, like it's just a game. Like, I choose to think that people like that don't exist in the hobby, because that would just be strange. But no, I totally understand. Like, life is so busy. Like, I could have been doing so many things this week, but I straight up like told people like, hey, I'm not hanging out. I'm not doing nothing. I gotta work through my hobby shit. I gotta make progress on this. Otherwise, I'm gonna feel like garbage. And people are like, yeah, no, I get it, bro. So, yeah. Some people just can't do. Some people just don't have the time. They can't do that, and like that's totally okay. Life is busy as hell, and you got time to paint. You got time to paint. If you don't like it, you don't like it. You can choose. It's like the Iron Giant. You choose who you want to be. Now, that being said, I don't have to like the look of an unpainted or like just primed army, but I get it. I'm never gonna attack anybody for that. That'd be very rude, very uncaring of me to do that. Angry goat mid headbutt would be a funny. Angry goat mid headbutt. Interesting. Huh. Yeah, kind of like an action pose. Yeah, I'll do some. Yeah, once I have some time, I'll do some browsing around ye old internet and see what sort of like clip art decals I can find that are, funny. Yeah, because I've watched I've watched battle reports over the years. I'm an enjoyer. I'm a avid fan of tabletop tactics and play on tabletop in particular. But yeah, they've got nice little symbols for everything. Charge phase, yeah, movement phase. Yeah, command phase is kind of like a nothing burger, unless you're like going full bore into the into a dedicated like hardcore edited version of the battle report. Other than that, the command phase is kind of an afterthought, especially in the game that we filmed. Time and energy management is the hardest part. Yes, it is. Especially if you like most of us are full-time working adults. It can be hard to find a good balance. But we do this shit for the love of the game. For the love of the game. Damn it, it's such a cool quote and I fucked it up. I'm sorry. Does this shit for the love of the game. Oh, baby. Alright. Get this backpack nice and finished. Yeah, I am doing... Yeah, as far as my own standards go, I am doing a sloppy effing job on these guys, but I am well past the point of caring. As long as I get the bare minimum on there, I am so stoked. Usually playing with 40k and 40m. Oh, 40k and 40m, my absolute beloved. The channel that first got me into painting, period. I've had the pleasure of meeting the team at Adepticon several times. And I've been a long-time supporter of them. They are gems, they are pure human being gems in my eyes, and I'm very grateful to them and their channel. Very good experience. Yeah, I've waxed poetic at least once about my my instigation into the hobby post COVID, but maybe we'll save that for another time. Let's try and get through this. We've only got 4 guys left after this, and 2 of them are the ones I primed the backpack on, so we should be making good progress. Speaking of progress, I went and saw the excuse me. Check out Angry Marines. Angry Marines. Oh god, oh my god, I just had like a flashback from God there. Way back when I was first getting into the hobby, deciding what successor chapter I was going to go to, or what chapter I guess specifically, because Salamanders were definitely up there, and they stuck in the running for my choice for the longest time until I defaulted to the unlucky guys. But I specifically remember looking up like, what are cool, like, what's a cool fan-made chapter? And Angry Marines just kept coming up over and over and over again. I kept getting them confused with the Marines Malevolent, whom I was also kind of a fan of, both for their just absolute like dickishness and their color scheme. I actually can't remember what they look like off the top of my head, but I remember one of the funny stories that I enjoyed was when like a Salamander captain like beat the shit out of one of them for being like, hey, let's nuke our own trench line. And he's like, why? He's like, because it'd be convenient. He's like, we're not doing that, idiot. Good old Marines Malevolent. But yeah, the angry Marines with the angry emoji. I thought it looked a little too silly for what I wanted to go for, but I was tickled by the idea. Thought it was a great time. Hope you're having a very lucky April 1st. You know what? I am. I'm having a very lucky April 1st. It's actually been very nice. I've not been punked or pranked by anybody. Sports teams aren't doing so well, but, you know, Malal was a really cool guy. He was the coolest guy. What was he doing? But no, that was a fun little part of Warhammer history I discovered when I was first getting into everything. Man, the good old I don't know anything about Warhammer. Where do I start? And you just go to Wikipedia and you just start looking shit up. God, I should just take a day and get myself a good strong drink and just go deep diving again. Start reading, start plotting, think about cool ideas. That'd be a fun time. Yeah, love of the game, especially Tycho and Nick. Nick is I can tell you from personal experience, Nick is a sweetheart. He is exactly like he appears on camera. He is bubbly, kind, and just absolutely full of joy. It feels like you're getting like vitamin D just by standing in the same room as him. Like, he is a sunny individual. And so like the whole gang is like that. JT was JT was like he's like your dad's best friend who knows you by name. And like he's like your uncle-in-law. He's such a cool guy. Yeah, I skipped Adepticon this year because of money and time constraints, but that will make it so that next year, when I'm like prepped and have like time and money under my belt, I will be able to enjoy it far more than had I like stressed myself out by pushing things financially. You got to approach the hobby with financial sense, otherwise you are going to end up miserable, and we don't want that. We don't want that for anybody. Okay, am I almost done with this? Okay, 1 second. Get this, get that, click on that, drag it over, click on that. It's like we're doing a Word document. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Hit the wrist. Hit that. And that one's done. We're good. All over my hand. Yeah. Station shows Black Templars at least until Vulcan gets some. Oh man. Well, they seem to be. Well, I mean, based on the Perturabo art reveal, it seems they are content. They are content with the fact that everyone seems to buy every single Primarch model that gets released. So eventually, they will get to the man who is supposedly immortal and cannot be killed, and they will bring him back in some regard. God, Vulcan would be a beautiful miniature. Yeah, maybe 2 editions from now. We're gonna get Russ first for sure. There's no I don't think there's any real way around that. It's basically a guarantee. I'm surprised. I mean, we still have some time before the edition ends. I would not be shocked if Perturabo drops and then we get we have to get one more loyalist in there to help even the playing field. I feel like it'd be a bit much all at once considering we already got Fulgrim this edition, but who knows? If a model makes some money, they will release it. It's like the Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. Or if you sell it, they will buy. I would love to have some music playing in the background, but I did not have the time tonight to figure it out. Maybe later. Maybe in a future stream. I'd like to do one of these like once a week at least, just to have people, give people a place to come in, congregate, chat about stuff, share what you're working on. I feel like that'd be a nice thing to do. We've also been talking about doing the same thing just on Discord and voice chat, which would be significantly easier because it doesn't require any source to stream from. So that's on the table as well. Coming up this weekend, we have the LTU Expo, the Lawrence Tech University Expo. As far as I'm aware, Lucky Ones will have a booth there. We'll be doing some painting stuff, some displays, a few other things. Unfortunately, I will not be there. I completely forgot it was this weekend. I'll be helping a friend of mine move out stuff from their mother's home and throw some things away Just help them out. Add the source in OBS. Well, I would need to find. Well, yeah, I am. I'm currently on OBS. I would have to track down like a playlist that wouldn't get flagged on YouTube. Want to make sure I'm doing it correctly so the channel doesn't get hit with anything nefarious. I'm sure it's not that difficult to find and set up, but I shouldn't have the time tonight. For the next stream, I'll definitely look into getting a little bit of music playing. Be nice to have something to break the monotony. But in the meantime, I will continue to chat my little lungs off. Yeah, I got work, but yeah, Ian's got stuff together for the paint take. Yep. Oh man, that was such a fun event last year. I'd like to go, man. I'd be fun to go just be at the event itself, not necessarily run the booth. They had that Smash tournament going, all the art booths. The art booths are always my favorite bit. Such a good time. Okay, come on. I feel like I've been on this miniature forever. Okay, we already did the front. Yes. Get the bottom here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Get this. Dun, dun, dun. Just a spot there. There we go. If it's archived, it needs to be copy free, but otherwise play whatever. Yeah. It absolutely is nice to be around people when you're painting. I want to do we want to do an in-person painting sesh. There's a cool store called Gotta Gotcha. It's got a really wide wide table area that you can just come in and use. So float that idea around for a little bit, see if we can make something happen. They might find Ferris's head before they revive Vulcan. Honestly, oh Jesus, the Iron Hands do not. Okay, this may be a controversial take. The Iron Hands do not deserve to get their dad back. You had one job to defend your dad on the field of battle, and you just got absolutely rolled by a single Primarch. Like, I get it, he's a Primarch, but you need to. But like the Moloch Terminators or whatever, whoever they were, like getting absolutely just slaughtered. Like, I'm sorry. For someone who's like, the flesh is weak, we need the machine. And then with the machine, you got bodied within an inch of your life so bad that your Primarch got murdered. It's like, I'm sorry. You needed to work a little harder. Like, you're the reason your dad died. And it's like, oh, Ferris was betrayed by his brother. It's like, blah, blah, cry me a fucking river. Ferris Manus. Iron Hand, like, simultaneously, Iron Hand fans do not deserve the curse that they're led into, but hey, they chose their faction. I'll mock them a little bit. 3 left. Tried to get lights and stuff to do detail work. It's mostly just pouches and guns and stuff. Yeah, see, that's the thing. I would love to do an in-person paint, but I would have to seriously, like, set out, okay, what paint can I take with me? What can I actually get done? Like, do I need a sponge? Do I need a brush? How many different paints do I need? I'm only going to be there for, like, 3 hours at most, maybe. What can I realistically get done? That determines, like, what I'm going to end up bringing with me. Like, I have here at my home desk every single, like, paint that I have, all within arm's reach. I have all the, like, my giant cup of brushes, like, all of my everything. The second you decide to, like, take your painting somewhere else, like whether you're going on vacation or you're doing what we're suggesting, it's all of a sudden just a massive process. Especially the first time you end up doing it, that's everyone's like, oh god, we've never done this before, what blah, 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 blah. But like after the first time, you're probably set in stone. But that first time's still a doozy. It's still a hurdle you got to get over. But I am down for the challenge. I think that'll be fun to figure out like a way to make like a portable paint setup. Nice to be in person. Gotta Gotcha also has a full service bar, so that is definitely a reason I would be interested in setting up some stuff there. I think the most Iron Fists need to consider abandoning their fleshy meat. Yes! True! Wait a minute! Oh, I'm standing up. Oh my god, where is he? Yeah, come here, big dog. Glory to the machine. Hail the Omnissiah. May the Omnissiah grant us eternal destruction unto our enemies. Blah, 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 blah. Ow! Oh, that was my knee. The entire camera's out of focus. Oh, God. We do have chicken. I only have a single shooty chicken. It's honestly a travesty. I need more. But that's going to have to wait for a good long while. We got a long way to go and a short time to get there. At home first, like a test mini, but away from your desk. Yeah, you could get like you could certainly like test your grab bag. Make sure you're actually gonna have something functional, and you're not gonna get caught high and dry. Like, oh, I forgot this gold. I'm stuck. Like, can't do anything else. I have a 2-part tone of my paints and tools. My brushes have their own case. Yeah, he's that's a conversion I can't take 100% of the credit for. It's literally just like the normal model, but you flip his torso around so that it looks like he's kind of like he's like stanced up. It was a very easy conversion to do. I'm very, very happy with the way it turned out. I saw a picture of it, like someone did that conversion like on, or something like very similar to it on Reddit somewhere, and I remember thinking like, oh god, like the normal Dominus looks so whack, but that looks really sick. So I just stole it, and now it's mine. The best ideas are the ones you steal, and give proper and cite proper credit for later on. Because no one's going to get mad as long as you cite your sources. Good artists borrow, great artists steal. That's the way she goes. Oops, nope, that's not a dot. There we go. Like the new tech priest in the kill team. Oh, the Overseer? Yeah, God, I ended up buying. Yeah, I have one of the one of the kill teams on Sprue that I got as like that I picked up from a flea market. Some guy was just offloading a garbage load of Warhammer. Yeah. I don't see myself needing more than one of them. Maybe in the future, I will end up like wanting more servitors, but you know, having one of those units is pretty cool. I'm collecting a lot of AdMech at the moment, so I can have like a project waiting in the wings when I finally have time to get it into something like a initiate. I could just get a little bit, just get a little bit extra. Like I don't think I need another one, but like maybe later I will. Like if my neighbor isn't using it. I've never played Dawn of War. I'm not fully immersed in like the memery of the Blood Ravens. I would like to be. I'm definitely a fan of Corvid Marines. Or rather, Bird Marines, I should say. Any Marine chapters that are named after birds have been historically pretty cool in my eyes. And I do mean most of them. Like, Raven Guard, Blood Ravens, the Howling Griffins, the Raptors. Like, all just really genuinely cool Marine chapters that were in the running for the one that I wanted to pick eventually. I've still been flirting with Raven Guard, like, to this day. Having some fun with that. Oh, God. But the temptation to go... The cost of going full into Phobos is just far too high at the moment. Maybe somebody decides to just, like, ditch an entire Raven Guard army. That would be my foot in the door. But maybe is maybe. And who knows what the future holds. They're hella fun with their detachment. Are we talking about the servitors, like the servitor overseer? Okay, we got two assault intercessors left. That is it. Let me fix my feet. Ah. Ugh! I gotta say, this office chair is really comfortable, but it can be a little tricky for me to work with sometimes. Data Psalm Enclave. Oh, the Tech Priest attachment. Yeah. Oh, because they are a Tech Priest unit, aren't they? Because the Overseer is a Tech Priest. I never actually considered that. Well, then again, I never owned... I don't like have the models ready to use, so it wasn't really something I dedicated a lot of thought to. But that is actually a really interesting factoid. Yeah, you either make their shooting better because it applies to the whole unit. The Newark Epic Hero and a full cult of speed 18. They might. Yeah, we actually haven't seen most of like anything of what's in that box, what's in the launch box. So we could very well have new Warbikers in there as well. That would be a very, very interesting thing because the Warbikers that we have currently are pretty old, if I remember correctly, and they could do with a ripe refreshing. Alright, let's focus up here. Let's get these legs done. Okay, the front is done. Nice. Wonderful. When they gain 1 AP, they punch way up for 60 points. Yeah. Oh, yeah, 60 points. What a cheap... stems back into my irk of AdMech being so cheap points-wise, but so expensive money-wise. Maybe in another life. But yeah, 60 points for being able to do actions and shooting, and then like getting that little bit of spice with the detachment itself. Very, very interesting tool. Although you probably, to get like the most you want out of that detachment, you're gonna have to go hard into the Electro Priests, which is a shame, because like the kit themselves, it's so old. It's just completely monopose, and I've never been a massive fan of them to begin with, but. It is a spicy detachment with the right units. Okay, we did that. We do the arms on this, and then it's done. Okay, yes, good. Get the mouth. Remember, if it's on the underside of a miniature, no one else but you is going to know it's there. Now, for some of us, that's enough, and it has to be fixed. But you know what? It's alright. Okay. Get this. Click, click, click. Done. Boom. Warbreakers are actually not too horrible to build. I wouldn't mind an update. Yeah, no, absolutely. It's it's a good looking, like they're nowhere near like don't get me wrong, they're nowhere near like Chaos Biker level of like disgusting that are still on those like cylindrical oval bases that are still in the codex for some reason. But yeah, if you're going like a full Cult of Speed drop, Warbreakers are just nice. Introduce like a cool new modular kit. Everyone has a good time with it. You got Gutmex. I forget his full name. Mr. Gutmex. Gutmex PhD. Springing around Armageddon, having a wonderful time. Oh God! Speaking of Armageddon, the news article today where they revealed how Yarrick survived. I had very many laughs reading that article. My brain immediately just went to the somehow Yarrick returned. In case you weren't aware, Gazgul had Yarrick at his mercy, like ready to stomp his face into paste. But upon realizing that he had finally beaten his long-hated foe, he decided that, nah, I'm good. I'm not going to kill you. I'm going to run away now. And then a Fenrisian priest scooped him up, took him to Fenris, and they're like, hey, man, like, we need you back on Armageddon because nobody else can be in charge. You're too well loved by the community, and Yarg was like, please end my life. And they're like, nah, sorry. You must carry on. Your model needs a refresh, Yarg. You have to get back in the front lines, Yarg. Battleclade is cheapest of the cheap. Yes, it is. And electric. Ah, man. I own 10 Fulgurite priests that have the with the staves, not the shooty kind, and they're like they hit pretty hard, even when they're like specifically when they're being led by a Dominus. If they're not being led, they're made of paper and they're disgustingly bad. But like even when being led by a Dominus in not the Electro Priest detachment, they still smash pretty hard in Conqueror Imperative. They of course they still fall to a stiff breeze, as is their nature, but I don't know. The kit is just so old, and the rules are so just like unbelievably lame compared to how they were in 9th edition. They had like the wound sucking, like they would literally siphon the life out of their enemies that they touched with their staves, because like they fed off of your motive force. They were like a conductor for it. Like that was cool, but then they just removed it, and for the sake of devastating wounds to make it like a nice easy keyword. Like they're like, who plays Admech? Nobody will care. We cared a lot. They just brought him back to. Do I blame Gaz for wanting to kill his hated foe forever? No, I don't. I do blame GW for not having the balls to like have a new character take over the story. Like you did it with you kind of faked out like around bringing Creed back by just having his daughter take over, which is fine. It's cool, but you could have had a new character pop in to be like the defender of the Cadian Gate or whatever. And like who could have like I don't know that trailer where like the cowardly like Highborn like tells all the soldiers to run, like Armageddon is lost. Then Yark, and then he just gets executed. You could have had you could have had Inquisitor Graves like from the box, just like be the one who executed him. It'd be like, there shall be no surrender. You shall give your life to this planet. Like that would have been powerful. Instead, it's just like we have Commander Graves, the cool new Inquisitor who has her own like super wagon and her own retinue of like badass looking Inquisitors, and also Yarg. And there's also Yarg. We also brought Yarg back, guys. We brought Yarg back. Please, everyone was sad when Yarg left. We brought him back, guys. What could have been, but I don't blame him at all. People are gonna buy Yarg like popcorn. So, time will tell. Fuck! Damn it! There we go. I added a little bit too much grime on that little nose pass. Oh god, this is the last guy of this type! Wait a minute! Wait a minute! Oh! Yes! Oh, thank Christmas. Alright, I need a sip of tea. My throat hurts so bad. Sweet honey and tea. Saving my goddamn life here. The Wrist Rocket Boys will kill just about anything with Call and a Dune Rider. Yeah, Sustain 2 is no joke. Sustain 2 is hilarious. New guard vehicles and other commissar may be interested in making it again. Yeah, see? She's so cool! Commander Graves looks sick. Like, she has 2 different models. She has her in the truck and her out of the truck. Yeah, she's like literally on top she's literally in the old Yarok pose on his Fortress of Arrogance, on his custom Baneblade, where he's like, drive me closer, I want to hit them with my sword. And, man, they could have done that. But, nope, nostalgia sells, and I don't blame them at all. Don't blame them in the slightest. Okay, we have 10 Firstborn Assault Terminators with Lightning Claws. in all of their kind of monopose, but not really glory. And then we have 5 of the fresh and swanky Stern Guard veterans. These should actually be cool. I have no... Who am I kidding? I have no idea. We'll find out when I do them right now. Yeah, Commissar on not a Torox. Yeah, it's incredible. She has like her own custom half track. She's so cool. She's so cool. You could have had like a really good voice actor get in there with like a, I don't know, just get that presence. Like the trailer would have done half the work for you. Okay, so this. I can put them on camera. This is it. This is all that's left. This is right here. And it's all we have to do for panel lining. Okay, let's see how much this is going to do. We're going to start at the bottom here with the Terminators. So it looks like we've got the knuckles, a few bits on the legs, the pauldrons, and the back. And that's about it. The torso is pretty much like one solid piece without any lines in it. So it's actually not going to take too long. I'm not going to shade the head. I debated on that. I think it would dull the white a little too much, considering the fact that I already like failed to like get these guys the proper white when I first primed them. But we shall see. We shall see how it turns out. All right, we're gonna start with the front. As far as I'm aware, that's actually it. These could go much quicker than I anticipated, and I am overjoyed hearing that. So let's see how this goes. There's one... Oh god, there's a panel line right there. That is so sneaky. Man, these old molds. It is shocking to see how much the technology for GW and their the effect and their like printing processes have improved over the years. It is incredible to see with every new kit. Although I will say, some of the newer kits do have a few annoying pieces. I remember specifically some of the Death Company symbols, or not symbols, but some of the Death Company Marines in the Blood Angels launch box had a shockingly annoying amount of like mold lines and like horrible things on some of their accessories, which was really obnoxious to properly deal with, because mold lines are like my personal hell in terms of like something I have to take care of, something I really have to deal with. Oh, this looks nice. This is a nice broad line that my paintbrush fits well in between. And it looks nice and good. Pretty upset that AdMech are still going to drag around Skitarii. I will respectfully disagree. I like Skitarii. I think they're cute little guys, and I love the new Hastari, despite the fact that the datasheets are kind of mid, but they're cool. So I will let it slide. Later, as more Skitarii variants when they let Heresy kits into 40k. It's agony to think about, of just how much cool garbage that the Skitarii in 30k have access to. It makes me so sad. Maybe in another life. Okay, so it's the Knuckles. And then is that it for these guys? There's like one thing on the pauldron, and that's it. Boom. Alright, let's get this wetted up. Click, click, click. And then 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that is... Wow. Okay, hopefully these don't take nearly as long as I would have anticipated. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, and they seem to be pretty consistent. This isn't to mention, we still have like a few shading things that I have to work with / go through before I finally get to priming these guys. But that is something I will force myself to do tonight, even after stream is over. Because if I go to bed without at least being able to, prime, not prime, without being able to do like battle damage and such, next time I sit down, which will probably be Friday, because tomorrow I got some busy stuff going on, I will be very, very disappointed in myself. Entertainment's good and all, but I need to lock in. We've been mucking around with these guys for far too long, and we have to take care of business. We gotta be professionals about this. We gotta use our time professionally. Dun, 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 dun. Excellent. God, these gaps are almost big enough where I can just skip the water part entirely. Oh my god. Oh, I'm so right. Yeah, oh man. The gaps in these detail lines are so much bigger than they are on the new sculpts that I do not even need to use my offhand water brush to get water in there. I can just straight up load the black brush, and we are big chilling with that. Okay, that's fantastic. That speeds this up so much. They almost make an investment in 30K AdMech Force. Yes, they do. They got one of my friends to actually invest in a 30K AdMech Force. And I look at the Skitarii Wastelanders, the Stilt guys. We got the Skatros as our miniature for our wonderfully designed codex. And every single thing that we look at over in Heresy Land is just so beautiful and wonderful. And they have robots, and they got stilt guys on the ground. And we have funny Stilt Man, who is just alone up and nothing else because his gun is so bad. Oh. It's a little sad, but hey, at least it exists. And it makes for really, really cool conversion material. Like that new Thalax not Thalax, that's the wrong one. But that new, whatever that new hover drone is that they just just came out. I have in mind for a future AdMech project a Belisarius Call replacement, a custom leader for my Forge World that's just Call in terms of function. But I have plans for that kit specifically. I want to turn that into his torso, where he has a big hunched caterpillar back. I think that would be lovely. How was this angle, by the way? Can you guys see kind of what's going on, or should I lower the camera a little bit? And also, tell me how the audio's doing. The light has been green this whole time. I futzed with it last session. I don't think I made any changes. I just want to make sure it's working well. You guys have been responding to me, so it seems like everything's okay, but figured I'd just check in real quick. Make sure everything sounds nice and lovely. Hello, Craig! Welcome! Welcome to the desk. Welcome to the hobby stream, where we are having lovely discussion about AdMech and amongst other things. About how the hobby just fills us with joy and wonder, especially wonder. Hope you didn't suffer any. Audio's been clear. I'm so stoked to hear it. Thank you, Mr. Awesome. Terrified of battle damage on my minis. It's easier on Gundam kits. Oh, it is definitely easier on Gundam kits. I agree with you there. I'm not. I have 3 Gundam kits up on my shelf. I can. Whee! They're up there. I have 3 Gundam kits on my shelf. They I haven't really desired to paint or futz with them in any way because I just kind of like them clean as is. My buddy is super into painting and collecting his Gundams. He goes crazy with them. To some very impressive degree. I think one of my favorites that he's done, I know it's definitely not like his favorite Gundam, but he has one of the Easy 8s from 8th MS team that he like full like Vietnam style like grimed up like forest mud like forest camouflaged, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. I'm a big fan of that. Stiltman is just Inspector. I am so, I'm so angry. I was so angry at this. I'm still angry at the Skatros. I will keep it real. I will not lie to you. I am still mad at his like the facts of his existence. Like, hang on. Let me grab. Oh, that sounds good. Your hands are clear and the mini is blurry. Let me lower the camera just a little bit. Okay, because I'm resting position right here. Is that better? Because the camera can adjust, but it doesn't have like it doesn't have like a ton of like range. Here, yeah. So just kind of look at that real quick. Because this is kind of where my hands naturally hover. Like resting on the edge of the desk. So tell me how that looks. While you're checking that, I will... He's over on the shelf over here. Let me grab... So I wanted to make my Skatros even stupider. Because I was so upset. That is clear? Okay, excellent. I'll keep it there. I wanted to make him look dumber than he possibly did before. So we have... Here, I'll show him on the other camera. We have a Skatros on a balloon that is grappled onto the ground. He's got his giant, stupid air balloon that's a ping pong ball that he's tied to, and he's latched onto a rock. I'm actually really happy. Can I see now? Yes, I can. Yeah. No, I have plenty of light from lamp over here and lamp up there. This fucking. I'm actually really happy. Like, as much as I hate the model, I'm actually really happy with that conversion because I like that it was so silly. Ugh. Man, and then my buddy thought it would be the one who is getting into AdMech 30K thought it would be just a hoot and a holler to buy me another. Yeah, it's a weather balloon. That's 100% what it is. God, he's taller than the normal Skatros is because of that. So just to make sure the enemy knows exactly where he is. It's actually kind of, and like the worst part is like I actually like. Let me try that again. I do like how the conversion turned out, and it's actually like very in theme for my Forge world, who's like winter hellscape, high winds, like traversal along the ground is hard. So, you know, I got some good out of it. A buddy of mine thought it'd be funny to buy me another one, and it's still in the box. I have absolutely no intention. The Inspector Gadget Fedora. That would be brilliant. Maybe, God, if I ever do somehow, for some reason, feel the need to actually build the second Skatros, like maybe he's cracked in 11th edition. Who knows? That is the only scenario where that guy gets built and not just turned into conversion parts for a miniature I actually give a damn about. I'm hoping it's the former, because realistically, I do not need another sniper character. There we go. We're floating at a pretty good level there. I can see just good. All right, that's that. Oh yeah, God, these are okay. These Terminators are quick to go through. Me likey a lot. Dun 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 dun. These lightning claws. I've always never been quite sure how to for like what type of like color scheme I wanted to do on my lightning claws. I'm a fan of like darker colors, especially contrasting against yellow. So I decided to go with a royal deep blue that I will end up using for some of my librarians who are next on the chopping block for painting. Chopping block's a bit extreme, but they're next up. They're next on the list. Okay, lock in. There we go, we did it. Dun dun dun. Chop, ching ching. I cannot wait to play with these guys. My dream of slamming a 10-man brick of Assault Terminators into an object with in the proper Blood Angels detachment to give them the extra attacks. I think it gets up to like 60 attacks in terms of like a max unit, and that's not even counting the character. I wish I had like an Assault Terminator Captain, but unfortunately my single Terminator Captain is the only one I possess. Although I do have oh, never mind. No, I don't. I do have a Terminator Librarian that I could throw in there to give them sustained, which would be absolute like 60 attacks, close to 60 attacks. Throw in 3-up ballistic skill. If I'm hitting my oath target, I'm re-rolling all of my hits, which is a little cringe, but whatever, it's the rule. And then we're twin linked because we're lightning claws. We're re-rolling all of our failed wound rolls in the Blood Angels detachment, so I'm getting lethal hits as well and lance. I'm getting +2 strength for my trouble. So I'm going up to strength 7, wounding pretty much everything in the game on minimum 4s. And then anything that's like an infantry unit, we're wounding on 2s. Sounds absolutely hilarious, and I cannot wait. I'm so excited to play with these guys. Of course, they're overcosted and not efficient, but we do not care. We do not care. We do not care about that. 852. Yeah, we're on this. Iron Warriors Terminators are Tartaros class from Heresy, but with custom Cataphractii pauldrons. Yes! Oh, I am so in love with Cataphractii bits, with the design of them. That new Kravik Morn guy, who just released with the new stuff, he is also a Cataphractii enjoyer, based on the bits that he used to make his custom armor. Yeah, big fan of that. Big fan of that. Like even, yeah, no. Brand new edition, 10th edition. I was there in the crowd at Adepticon, where he's like, the guy, like one of those guys from the announcements, who was like just on the announcements, is like, hey, 10th edition, less rerolls. You're not going to be re-rolling everything in your big Space Marine Death Star. And everyone was like, yeah, that's awesome. And they're like, what's, and like, here, we're going to show you guys the first rule of the new edition. And everyone's like, yeah, it's for Space Marines. You pick a unit, you get to re-roll all of your hit rolls and all of your wound rolls. And everyone was like, but less re-rolls. And then we know how history turned out, where reroll pretty much everything is what makes a unit good. And it's you know what? It's the way the game has gone. And hey, if you're gonna have fun with the game, you can't be complaining all the time. You can complain most of the time, but if you're a negative Nancy forever, then you're just gonna make yourself miserable, and you shouldn't do that. So reroll your hit rolls. Just do it. Life is short. Get it twisted. Who cares? Everyone's doing it. But no, the irony of that is absolutely hilarious. Yeah, Oath of Moment. Yeah, don't forget, Oath of Moment back when it was originally unveiled was full wound and hit rerolls. It was not just hits. It was hilarious, and Bobby G was like still in Index with his double oath ability with that not being changed. So it was worse than you remember, most likely. Which is why I'm trying to flex towards Imperial Knights and Adamic more. Reroll all 60... So, yeah. Just pre-ordered Kravik Morn? Absolutely. He is such a cool guy. Yeah, Iron Warriors fans eating good for the first time in a minute. Scaled up Cataphractii terms for my friend of Proxy is Centurions. Oh, man. If there's a kit that needs a redo, I fear they're just going to get dropped. I know they're kind of like a cult classic kit, but man, they're just so old and tiny for what they're supposed to be. And I'll be the first to admit, as far as like the bloated amount of Space Marine data sheets go, that's one that can go. That I would lose the least amount of sleep over. Is Centurions. As much as I like them, I think they're silly and ridiculous.
since we weren't sure if they'd be in the game next edition. I mean, yeah, that is fair. Well, they're not going to get removed from the codex because the codexes are carrying over, so you got at least 3 more years with them. Rerolls are fine, just make it an all or nothing thing. Absolutely agree. It should be all rerolls should be a failed hit roll, like a failed roll. You shouldn't be able to reroll successes. You should not be able to fish. It would lower the amount of rerolls incessantly and force you, but still give you the feeling of like, oh, I get to mitigate some of my failure, without it being like, yeah, I've thrown every possible keyword with these stratagem and this certain weapon, so I'm just gonna like bypass as much of your ability to play the game as possible. It's a little silly, but hey, everyone's doing it. Go off, King. Reroll all 60. Yeah, so exactly. So 60 attacks, rerolling everything, hitting on 3s. No, hitting on 2s. Because I'm probably. Oh, no. I forget if these guys get like a +1 to hit for some reason. That might just be the regular Terminators. I don't remember. But 60 hits, rerolling on 3s. Lethal and sustained. So every 6 is an additional wound. It's AP 2. Rerolling every failed wound. Wounding on a 2, probably a 3, at most a 4. Because there's nothing in the game that is strength 14 that I'm slamming these guys into. So I think it's rather funny. I think it's kind of cute and funny because nobody runs Assault Terminators with Lightning Claws. Everyone wants the Thunder Hammer. Everyone wants the Storm Shield. I look at you and I say, you fear what is possible with 60 dice. I'm secretly just an orc player in disguise. I always have been. I just want to roll buckets of dice and do nothing else. I mean, hell, I get my current dice fix with a giant squad of Assault Intercessors, and just cranking them up to maximum. We dish out a pretty similar amount. I think we deal about 50. I think we do about 50 dice with the 10-man squad of that stuff. So yeah, 60. Yeah, it will be glorious. It will be funny. I just want to improve shooting for orcs, hitting on 5s and 6s with new stay hidden rolls. I feel like we don't like. I understand where you're coming from. I feel like we don't know everything yet, but you do have to remember that only applies outside of 15 inches, and if they're in a building. If an orc is shooting at someone outside of 15, that's like in a building, there's probably a squad that, I don't know. We don't know anything yet. All the rumor channels are going to be going for the next like 3 to 6 weeks, predicting everything. Like Mordian Glory's already like going over that Discord leak that is maybe like 10% true, but probably isn't. So take it with a grain of salt. The bottom line, if this edition showed us anything, is that if a rule is disgusting and cringe, they will change it. So if orcs are finding that, I mean, orcs are in the launch box. If life is shit for orcs with the new terrain rules, they're probably going to get fixed up pretty quick. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. Yeah, Nas Centurions is still fine. They're such a silly unit. I love them so much. Should not be able to reroll successes to fish for lethal and sustained. Absolutely agree. The building is the only issue. I'm of the mind that fishing is the best part of rerolling. Like, it is the best in terms of like dealing damage, but is that good for the game? I don't think so. I think the game is far more manageable and quicker if you're rerolling less dice. Like, how much time do you spend in your average Warhammer game actually rerolling dice? Probably more than you think, especially if you're fishing. Yeah, orcs have fun rolling their buckets. Do you get 3 wounds though? 3 wounds to on guard. Yeah, the -1 did seemingly change from AP to the hit roll. Fishing is almost never better. It is more fun. Oops, hit the camera. It is more fun. I'll give you that. From what we know, that like stealth. Well, not stealth, but cover is -1 to hit instead of +1 to armor saves. I like the fact that the onus of cover is now on the active player to do, instead of having to constantly like snap at my opponent like, hey, you're getting shot here. And then like a lot of times they'll just like forget they have cover, or they just won't be paying attention, and I'll be like, hey, you have cover on these. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. But with the new rules, supposedly, the onus is now on me, the active player. If I'm shooting at you, I have to calculate whether you have cover or not. I subtract that from my initial hit roll. I don't have to wait for my opponent to be like, oh, 15 saves, AP1, I'm in cover. If the defending opponent has to do less math and the turn is faster, big fan of that. How will it stack with stealth? We have no idea. Like, maybe stealth does something completely different from now on. But who knows? That's on them. It's for us to find out later. So I will not be losing any sleep over it. Okay, we finished up those Terminators really fast. So now we are going, but right as we hit 9 o'clock, right as we're about to end the stream, I've got 5 effing dudes to finish up in terms of panel lining. And once these guys are done, I am going to start. I'm going to take a quick break first of all, go get a snack, and then I'm going to start weathering. And we shall see what happens. Should be a good time. Beautiful. Excellent progress made tonight. We got through pretty much 90% of everything. And I'm not going to go to bed without finishing that, I promise. Otherwise, I'm going to feel like garbage. Minus 1 hit allows them to make more abilities that can affect ballistic skill. Terrain rules need to be written like 9th. We have pipes. Yeah, the pipe. They did change it with the pipes. Pipes have a 2-inch engagement range, which is hilarious. The fact that that never gets used because pipes are never used for anything, like in terms of significance. Like you're always either just climbing over them or you're ignoring them entirely, or you're abusing them to get cover, which just gets you your -1 incoming AP. Yeah, pipes are great. Bucket of. All right. That is going to be the end of tonight's hobby stream. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by and spending a little bit of your evening with me. I will hope to do this again. I love, just sitting down, doing some hobby work, getting to chat with some people, talk about the game, just kind of bask in the little community we have. I think next week I'll maybe I got to shoot for Wednesday again, but I know Wednesday is pretty busy with people out getting games and stuff for regularly. But who knows? I'll probably settle on a day next week by Monday. I'll make a post on the Discord about it. If you're not in the Discord for some reason, I think everyone here is, go find it. Go join it. Go check it out on the YouTube channel. Working on a battle report in the background while we are clearing our way out of this hobby crap. So until next time, I appreciate everybody who stopped by and spent a little bit of time with me tonight. Hope you guys keep working on your hobby stuff, and remember, buy less, paint more, and keep rolling those lucky ones. I will see you all again in the future. Good night.